These charges are part of a government conspiracy against my client.
Conspiracy?
That's what I said. For example, impersonating a military officer, flying without a pilot's license, wearing underwear in public.
The country was stunned last week when Captain Invincible had to face accusations of disloyalty. The captain showed his anger, but millions asked themselves, what was this hearing really about?
All we want is a simple answer. I notice you wear a red cape. What made you pick that particular color?
It might surprise you to know, Senator, that red, white, and blue are the colors of the flag of the United States of America, a country that you and I should both be proud to live in.
Don't hide behind the flag, Captain. Answer the question. And while you're at it, why don't you tell us where you got that title, Captain? According to my records, you never served a single day in the armed forces of this great nation. In just whose service are you a captain, Captain?
America was astonished last week when Captain Invincible, under a cloud of allegations and charges, vanished. Where is the captain? The familiar figure of the legend in leotards flying over Manhattan is no more.
I want to know what the hell's been happening here.
The giggle gun was clearly used to steal the...
Not the hypno-ray.
I'm afraid so, Mr. President.
What the world needs right now is a hero.
Your country needs you, Captain.
I gave up the hero business a long time ago.
We need you badly, Captain Invincible.
It's the dirt!
This really sucks.
We don't like Invincible. He's a juice head.
Self-righteous, messianic, moralistic, and increasingly tedious.
Fine talk from a sociopath, paranoid, schizophrenic with delusions of grandeur.
Thank you.
Give me the bag.
This could possibly be the strangest superhero film ever made. Probably the majority of moviegoers never saw it, or even heard of it. Okay, so the story opens with superhero Captain Invincible,
Also known as the Cape Contender, legend in leotards, and last but not least, man of magnet.
in his glory days of the 1940s. He's fighting against gangsters and helping destroy the Nazis. The legend in leotard stands for good old-fashioned values, like honesty, truth, and hope. By the 1950s, everything he represents gets him to be the target of a McCarthy attack. Completely discouraged by this dramatic turnaround after everything he's done for the country and the world, Captain Invincible disappears. Fast forward to present day, the early 1980s in this case, and the top secret weapon, the hypno-ray, has been stolen. The evil potential it has is limitless. The US government has to get it back, so they track down the now drunken Invincible, who spends all his time boozing his time away down under, Australia. They hope he will bury the hatchet and help save the world one more time. Invincible teams up with an Australian cop who will become the love interest and his partner, reintroducing him back into the world and helping him track down who's behind all this. Now the captain has to kick his boozing habit, relearn his powers, and once again come face to face with his evil nemesis, Mr. Midnight, and stop him from completing his nefarious scheme. The basic plot is pretty routine. Washed up, discarded hero, coming back, redeeming himself, and saving the day. In fact, watching it now, you see strong similarities between it and another superhero film years later. The captain yearns for the good old days, where good and evil are clear-cut. You knew who the enemy was and that they had to be stopped. America represented something wholesome and inspiring, something the captain feels has been lost.
I'm sorry, but I have to tell you the truth about things that have changed.
Things haven't changed, Patty. People have changed. People in the whole damn country. It's lost something. It's lost something vital, like honesty and pride, integrity, and a sense of the future.
Directed by Philippe Mora, it's an extremely goofy comedy that doesn't hold anything back and certainly doesn't take itself seriously. It's targeting a select audience. It's designed to be a cult film. So I have to give it credit for throwing it all out there. The humor ranges from bad puns, slapstick, even live-action, old, bad jokes. The fact that the characters break into song, it makes this even stranger. There are a few songs written by Richard O'Brien and Richard Hartly of Rocky Horror Picture Show fame. The songs are hit and miss.
I got some economic hawks, a gin and tonic on the rocks, where angels fear to tread. I say, choose your booze, let's hit the red eye!
The most famous one is Christopher Lee's number, although I found myself having this one stuck in my head the next day.
Now who's wearing black hats and who's wearing white? And who's on the side of justice and right? The line is so fine between heaven and hell, not even a hero can tell.
It pretty much sums up the captain's feelings towards the start of the film. Then some of the songs...
Bullshit! Bullshit, 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 bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit,
are downright nuts. Like, what can you say about this number? You're either going to think it's funny or not. The actors aren't exactly going to be the next American Idol, but I don't think they really embarrass themselves. That doesn't sound like too much of a compliment, huh? You're not going to be watching the film for the superheroic special effects. It doesn't try to hide the ridiculousness of any of that. It pretty much embraces the lameness of the blue screen backgrounds. So it's clearly an odd film, which is fine. I sometimes like odd films. But as a comedy, it's not that funny. There really isn't any laugh-out-loud moments. At best, maybe a chuckle here and there. Most of the time I spent watching it with my mouth hanging open and my head shaking. I just kept wondering, how did this all happen?
You listening, Captain?
Yeah.
Right. Magnet on for the magnetic ability. Begin program for the
amazing computer brain.
Right. And when you want to fly, you yell... Into the blue!
Blue, blue, into the blue!
Even the old reliable training scenes with Invincible relearning his powers, in this case his power of flight, his computer brain, and his power of magnetism, it doesn't really result in much fun. The story is a patchwork of loonier and loonier scenes that just keep escalating. Seeing Arkin wearing his dippy Invincible costume is nothing. Things get much crazier. That's another thing. The fact this was an Australian production, about a story of an American hero and the loss of these old patriotic ideals he stood for. But it takes place in Australia. That just amps up the oddness in all this. It does kind of fit with the wacky tone of the film, I guess. The story is so strange and has so many kooky scenes that you don't really have to worry about any logic to any of it.
Operation K9 Feces completed, sir.
Oh my God.
Gefilte fish. Hit the dirt.
His or her brain can be compelled to want or even desire any physical object.
You mean like a pinto?
Julius! Stop thundering about. Oi-ho! Oi-ho!
See what I mean? It's just an exercise in the absurd. The film does hit on the idea of presenting a superhero as a more fallible character, years before it became the norm. Captain Invincible is a flawed guy who's just as susceptible to weariness, cynicism, and, well, booze. I've always liked Alan Arkin, and he does his usual deadpan, relaxed kind of performance. Kate Fitzpatrick is fine, I guess, as his leading lady. Kind of bland, but in all this, it's hard for a character to stand out. Lee is probably the one who had the biggest kick out of hamming it up as the villain. Supposedly he had said he always wanted to be in a musical, so that's probably how he got involved in all this. I will say the film is never boring, but I never had as much fun as I think I should have had with such an absurd movie. I mean, if you thought Popeye was weird, Captain Invincible completely blows it away. I do find it kind of satisfying that films like this occasionally manage to get made, though. I might not enjoy it, but it serves that smaller niche audience who do. And, that's a good thing. It's a rare movie fan that will delight in all of this. To the majority, though, it's going to be sitting through one whacked-out movie. It might be one of the strangest films I've ever seen. I was trying to think of another movie to compare it to, but I'm coming up blank. Apparently, right before its US release, the film company was in the middle of going out of business, and that kinda got in the way of getting the film out to theaters. Not that I think it would have been a huge hit anyway. Since then, the Return of Captain Invincible has practically vanished into obscurity. Arkin had a pretty prolific career since his breakout role, playing a villain who terrorizes Audrey Hepburn in Wait Until Dark. From there, he continued a steady stream of films throughout the 70s, mainly focusing on comedy and lighter performances. By the early 80s, though, his film choices became less and less successful, and the popularity he had with general audiences started to wane. By the end of the decade, he would shift into playing more supporting parts and would become a reliable character actor that could elevate any project's status by just appearing in it.
That's right, Chief. They call me Rubberneck. What the hell does that mean?
Well, almost any. Not too long ago, Arkin was giving a speaking engagement in New York, and a friend of mine got to attend. Before it started, they were accepting questions from audience members for him, and I begged him to submit all these Captain Invincible questions to him. What drew him to the project? Did he always want to do a musical? Had he been a superhero fan? What was his opinion on the finished film? I figured this would be some great first-hand feedback from Arkin about this film. I don't think I've ever heard him talk about it. My friend gave it a shot. He offered up all the Captain Invincible questions I kept texting him. But naturally, they didn't choose any of them. Instead, they stuck with asking him about his more popular work, like Wait Until Dark and Little Miss Sunshine. They probably thought the Captain Invincible ones were jokes. My friend was probably lucky they didn't throw him out. I bet no one in the audience ever saw Captain Invincible anyway. Maybe Arkin would rather forget about it too.
Okay, let's go, Colonel. You're blocking the traffic.
I am not a colonel. I am a captain.
Sorry, I forgot. Which service?
Don't ask me that. I refuse to answer on the grounds of the...